So, I've been debating to make another Autism and Me video for a while now, and I thought, go ahead and do this. Get it out of the way. Because one of the questions I've actually had asked me in person, because being at the flea market, I've met a lot of other people who have basically talked to me because they themselves have kids with autism and have kind of asked, hey, what has changed since the 90s? And one of the things that hasn't really changed, sadly, is kind of pertaining to finding a job. Mostly in Tennessee. I don't know how it is in other states. I'm just talking about this from a Tennessee point of view. So here it is. When I was diagnosed with autism, and they did a lot of tests on me, they still do tests on me, mind you. They do evaluations, more or less. Basically, I was told that, and I've said this before, that my autism, basically, I have the mind of a 14-year-old. I have the mentality of a 14-year-old, and because of this, I am permanently on disability. The big thing is that this is a double-edged sword. Being on disability permanently for all my life is basically, hey, I'm covered medically, at least, from what I was told. I don't know the whole things of it. I'm not a bureaucrat. I don't understand the red tape behind it. I really don't understand all of it. But I'm going to explain to you how it was explained to me. The big thing is that basically I'll never be able to get a job. The reason for that is because, one, it is on my record about the fact of basically I have that mentality of a 14-year-old, and I basically am a kid and trapped in an adult body, an aging body. Already there's a lot of philosophical stuff there and things that have caused me to almost literally think myself to death. That's another video to get into. I will not get into suicide or anything in this video, even though that is a video I'm definitely going to talk about in the future, because it does relate to people who actually can think themselves to death. A lot of times I'll get comments saying, oh, why don't you get a job? Why don't you get a job? Blah, blah, blah. The biggest reason is because Tennessee is a right-to-hire state. Essentially, an employer has the right to hire someone who has a disability. And if they have a disability that's going to be detrimental to them, they have a right to ignore that and basically go with someone who is actually more qualified for it, for that job. The big thing is that, sadly, I am on a fixed income that is related to this. I literally only get $700 a month. That $700 goes to my phone bill, goes to bills, and goes to basically food. That's why I am very much so the budget guy. Why I'm always the guy who says, hey, I will try and find stuff on a budget that's still as good, if not effective. It's why I do flea markets, because at a flea market, I don't have to worry about basically, hey, you know, I'm working for someone who's basically taking a gamble on it. I'm literally doing it myself, but even then, I'm not making much at the flea markets. All that money is just basically going towards food or towards basically things that's going to help me do like day-to-day type stuff. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, it's got to be depressing, right? Well, yes and no. And that's my stepmom there. Yes and no. A lot of times people think that because you're autistic, you automatically have this depressive disposition, you're automatically just throwing your lot in life, you automatically just accept your fate. A lot of those who have autism that actually have them be given the opportunities to be able to handle a job better than myself, I say that they are the example that I try to go for, I try to thrive for. And that is something I'm kind of happy about, is the fact of everyone, when they assume that someone has autism, they are a detriment, they're a burden, they are people who basically cannot function normally in society. That is not the case. While yes, I am basically have been given a lot in life where if I try to make more than my disability check, that disability check goes away and I lose basically all my medical coverage. That is basically where I am in life. It sucks, and the thing is, yes, I could try and work with the system. I could try and make it to where, hey, I could try and have it to where I'm a little bit better off in life, and I try and basically make it to where I'm taken care of a little better, but the amount of paperwork and stuff is not worth it, because my attention span is, the way my autism is that if I have a fixation on something, but if I try to actually do something, I try to commit to it, I basically, all of it just starts going away. I start losing it. I start becoming tired, basically. I start becoming to the point of, I'd rather do something else than this. It is like I said, it's a double-edged sword. And the sad part is that it's the same way with actual work. I have squirrel brain. I will happily admit that I have a squirrel brain where if I try to focus on something, my squirrel brain immediately goes like, whee! Unless it's like interest. The reason I am able to focus on YouTube and stuff like that, the reason I'm able to focus on games and stuff like that is I genuinely do enjoy what I do. Airsoft and stuff, I genuinely do enjoy that. Taking stuff apart, putting it back together, I genuinely do enjoy that. If you try to set me down and do paperwork, I genuinely, the way my brain is wired is that I genuinely do not like it. I don't want to be there. I don't want to do it. I literally start doing other stuff. I start looking around. I start just kind of going all over the place trying to find something that I don't want to do it. I don't want to be there. It's kind of like with large crowds, basically. I genuinely do not like being in large crowds. I don't like being around a lot of people unless, of course, it's something I genuinely do know and I like. That is something I probably will talk about in another video talking about that, but genuinely speaking, when it comes to autism, there's a lot of stuff that is detrimental to some people, but to others it's basically like a phobia in a sense. It's why I didn't like large crowds. That's my stepmom. She's a good person. She's actually put up with me for all my life, and I'm grateful for her at least. But what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, to those who say, why don't you get a job? It's because when I was diagnosed with autism, the system is done in a way to where I can't get a job. And sadly, the system is, for me at least, and for many others, is still set up in that way here in Tennessee, where the employer has the right to hire or not to hire you. And if you are autistic and you are not able to basically, in their minds, actually do the job, then they won't hire you, and is what it is. So, to those who keep always commenting, why don't you get a job, there's my answer. I've just been given a lot in life to where it's impossible to get a job. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I've accepted that. And I'm fine with just finding my way in life, my lot in life. I grew up on a farm. I know how to farm. I know how to work a land. And honestly, it is what it is. So to those with autism who are thinking about going into the job market, I say this. Take from me an example of someone who, while yes, has accepted his lot in life, you don't have to. If you know you have a skill that's good for the job site that you want to be on, then work towards it. Actually try and get that job you want. Try and be the person you want to be, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because I know it's disheartening, and it sucks. It really does. Being told that because you're disabled, or because you have autism, or because you have Down syndromes, or you may be paraplegic, that you're not be able to get a job. That's fine. It just means that you have a skill that that person is taking for granted. So try and go for something that you like, and don't let your dream get crushed. I know I let my dreams get crushed. Doesn't mean you should. So yeah, that's another rambling of me and my autism. Next time I probably will talk about what I said before about literally being able to think myself to death. and that depressing subject. Till next time.